Came to an end on Monday. It was a no decision at Milwaukee, but still unbeaten at his last 9 starts since May 16th. 8-0 record, ERA just over 2.5, and on the spot today, JD.
Yeah, obviously the Cubs need Kyle Hendricks to step up here this afternoon. You kind of expect him to. He's been in this situation before this year where the Cubs have been in a little bit of a losing streak. Nothing like this 8-game one they're on now, but he has responded on each of those occasions. You see rough start in April, a couple really tough ones against the Braves, inflating that ERA to 7.54. But May, June, typical Kyle Hendricks stuff, 9-1 with an ERA sub-3.
Yeah, over his career, Joey Votto has hit him well, 367. And Votto so far in the first 2 games drove in the winning run in Game 1, scored the winning run for Cincinnati in Game 2. The Reds counter with another veteran, 34-year-old Wade Miley, the lefty.
Yeah, Wade Miley's having a very nice year. He threw out one bad start in Colorado, and he's got an ERA around 2.29. He pitched a no-hitter this year against Cleveland. That came in the start after he faced the Cubs. So 14 starts, 6-4 record, a 3.09 ERA. Like Hendricks, he's not a power guy. It's a little different look, though. He'll throw a ton of cut fastballs. He'll turn the ball over, down and away from the right-handed hitters. He lives on the ground. Despite pitching in this good hitter's ballpark, he's only allowed 6 home runs all year long.
His second season with the Reds, and the Cub hitters have done a pretty good job forcing the starting pitchers to get to the bullpen early, using up pitches. They just haven't been able to score on the Cincinnati bullpen they thought was an area they could attack, so they'll load up the lineup with guys like Jake Marisnick. A lot of right-handers in there against the lefty Wade Miley. Glad you're with us. First pitch, 4th of July, coming right up. Against the Cubs. You know, this 8-game Cub losing streak, 4 of the 8 losses have been by just 1 run, and both in this series.
Yeah, early on in the year, the Cubs were winning more than their fair share of 1-run games, but that has a trend has reversed. Over their last 14 1-run games, they are 3-11, including the 4 on this streak that you talked about, 0-4. And the 1-runner's just not scoring enough runs.
Let's check the Cubs lineup, brought to you by Binny's Beverage Depot. Binny's, the official champagne provider of the Chicago Cubs. Wilson Contreras in the leadoff spot. Cubs have a 10-7 record when he is there. The return of Nico Horner, as we mentioned, recovering from that hamstring that kept him out since late May. And Kyle Hendricks follows Marisnick and Ian Happ.
Starting pitcher for the Reds this afternoon is the veteran left-hander Wade Miley. It's brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. And what does Miley feature? Well, think cutter. 49% of the time he throws that cut fastball, tries to run it in on the hands of the right-handed hitters. If they start to look in there, he'll go change up, down and away. Occasionally a four-seamer, occasionally a curveball, and rarely a slider or a sinker. Reds defensively brought to you by Muscle Milk. Own your strength. Cubs have been aggressive running on the corner outfielders. Keep an eye on that today. That's Winker and Castellanos, a pair of all-stars. Tyler Naquin is in center field. Suarez, Farmer, India, Votto. So very familiar look for David Bell, and why not? He's winning, been playing winning baseball here lately, so he turns to the same cast of characters. Tucker Barnhart back behind the dish after Tyler Stevenson spelled him yesterday.
Settle in with us. Enjoy a little baseball on the 4th of July. Wherever you're watching, thanks for tuning in. And Wilson Contreras steps in, and first pitch low from Wade Miley. In the series, Contreras 2 for 5. Couple of doubles and 3 walks. 85 degrees as we begin this on a humid afternoon in Cincinnati, Ohio. Yeah, more typical of an afternoon here in Cincinnati than we've seen the first couple of days. Warm, steamy, ball will jump. Although against Miley, he's such an extreme ground ball pitcher, tough to get him airborne. And there is a grounder. Votto will keep for out number 1. Jock Peterson, who's been struggling a little bit given the day off, so Contreras in that leadoff spot. Chris Bryant steps in. We talked a moment ago. Really the one guy carrying the load hitting-wise in this series so far. I think Wilson Contreras must have a little something going on either with his back or his legs, because I've noticed him going down the line in this series, and he hasn't been pushing it very hard. He had that, remember that hustling double, he might have aggravated something when he slid, but you're right, since then it's been a little bit of a different story.
But I mean, it's, on the routine ground balls, especially for a catcher, and a guy who catches as much as he does pretty much every day, right? He catches more than anybody in the game. So, if you're David Ross, you kind of tell him, hey, man, you don't need to try to win an Olympic sprint every time you hit a routine ground ball. So I think that's perfectly understandable. This one, though, there's a chance something might have developed here.
Yeah, between a flip or something.
Yeah, and I think maybe something might be barking just a little bit, or maybe just trying to conserve energy on a hot day for a guy that catches all the time.
Base hit left field. Chris Bryant continues his hot hitting against Reds pitching. 6th hit of this series.
Been really good against left-handed pitching this year. This is an 89-mile-an-hour fastball, pretty much center cut. And you won't see Miley top 90 miles an hour very often. Location and movement and tempo. He's a really quick worker.
Anthony Rizzo steps in, the only lefty in the lineup here against the lefty Miley. And the left low back tightness that sure has affected his swing as he takes a strike, but he leads all left-handed hitters with a .344 average against left-handed pitchers. So maybe he can snap out of his funk.
Sun's out, guns out. Got the rally arms going today.
Base hit. Runners at first and second now. And here's where the Cubs, with Javier Baez stepping in, need to take advantage.
Here's Rizzo doing more good work against a tough lefty. This ball, a cutter that appeared to be right off the outside corner, but Anthony's right on top of the plate, so easy for him to reach that one and ping it to left.
Base hits, man on. Good start for the Cubs. 0 for 5 Friday with runners in scoring position. 0 for 9 Saturday, so 0 for 14 combined in the series. Baez guilty yesterday when there were runners at first and third and nobody out, and he popped up. Again, very aggressive, and something David Ross, we talked to him about this morning. He said we've had discussions about making adjustments in game situations. We know he's trying to, be the hero. When the light shines, he wants to be center stage. Foul ball. But we need hits and we need runs.
Yeah, Rossi was encouraged by the fact that Javi's been taking some walks lately.
One walk in the series with 4 strikeouts. This is going to get through. And coming home is Chris Bryant, and Baez delivers. 1-0 Cubs.
Look at that. Rossi puts Nico Horner in the lineup, and immediately the Cubs start hitting singles.
And he hasn't come up yet.
Yeah. Being facetious, of course, but
no, I get you.
Good, there you go. There's a first base hit with a man in scoring position of the series.
Keep the train moving. Baez with the RBI at first. Patrick Wisdom coming to the plate. Rizzo at second. Tough play. Suarez gets 1, gets 2. They turn the double play. But the Cubs strike first with an RBI from Javier Baez and lead 1-0. As we come to the bottom of the first and look at the Reds lineup, brought to you by Ford. You saw Jonathan India getting loose, the leadoff hitter. Cubs have done a good job with him. It's been amazing, though, with Winker 0 for 7 in the series. Castellanos 1 for 8 so far. But Joey Votto, the cleanup hitter, has been clutch, and he is a guy over his career who has hit Kyle Hendricks rather well.
Speaking of Kyle Hendricks, he is the starting pitcher for the Cubs this afternoon, and he is brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. Check in with the professor and his arsenal. Sinker, 86, 87 miles per hour. He'll elevate a four-seamer from time to time, change up, gets a lot of ground balls and swings and misses. And he's used his curveball 15% of the time. The Cubs defensively, brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield. Through it all. The lineup thusly here this afternoon. Happ gets left today. Marisnik center, KB moves to right. Wisdom, Baez, Horner, and Rizzo around the horn. Wilson Contreras behind the plate.
Jonathan India, the rookie, came in as a hot hitter. They won that dramatic game on Thursday night before facing the Cubs against the Padres. 1 for 7 in the series. He has 3 strikeouts. One of the 11 rookies that the Reds have used this year. A handful in the bullpen and pitching department.
Hendricks taking dead aim at that outside corner.
Strike 2. Now 2-2 to the Reds' leadoff hitter. Hendricks, after the curveball didn't connect. Sinkers before that. And got India to chase. Strikeout, out number 1.
A great pitch here by Hendricks. Time now to check our keys to the game, brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers. First things first, and first inning off to a good start for Kyle. He's really struggled in the first inning this year, has an ERA up over 10. That's the highest in all the land. No fly zone. Try to keep it in the yard. Certainly that's going to be a challenge against Miley, extreme ground ball pitcher, but the home run ball has been an issue for Kyle. And yeah, it's the 4th of July. How about some fireworks?
20 home runs given up allowed by Hendricks, but 14 of those solo jobs. Gets Jesse Winker swinging. If you'd have told us that the Cubs pitching would keep Winker and Castellanos away from knocking in runs or running the bases, I think they have a pretty good chance to win a couple of the games here. But 2 tight losses. Tapper foul.
Here's the first inning ERA I mentioned with Kyle, 10.69. First inning home runs have been an issue, and the Braves dropped a big bomb on him earlier this year. Actually, outside of a couple of those starts against the Braves, it would be a fairly typical stat line for Kyle Hendricks. His ERA sitting at 3.98 now.
31-year-old from Dartmouth, drafted in the 8th round by the Rangers in 2011. Pop up, out number 2.
That was Nico out there in shallow center hauling that one in. So yeah, first inning gets by that, and things obviously get a whole lot better. A career ERA of 3.19 for Kyle. 79 wins, 52 losses, 190 major league starts.
Castellanos 1 for 8 in the series. Has struck out 4 times. Takes the strike. Fouled away.
He is the consummate pitch maker, Kyle Hendricks. If you really bear down and watch how often he hits the location when Contreras says, I want it away, he goes, he throws it right off that outside edge. You need to elevate one up and in. He can execute that pitch.
The 0-2. Low. The Reds' top 3 spots in the batting order combined to lead the National League in average, on-base percentage, slugging percentage, yada, yada, yada. But a combined 2 for 24 in the series. And Hendricks trying to make it 2 for 25 and get us out of the first here. Base hit over the head of the shortstop, and the All-Star is on.
Yeah, it's been very unlike what we typically see here at Great American Ballpark. Certainly in the middle of the summer, you typically see a lot of runs go up on the board, but we've had a 2-1 game, a 3-2 game so far in this series.
And Votto's been the guy for the Reds. 3 for 4. He's walked, been hit by a pitch. He's driven in 3 as a home run. And of the Red hitters that have faced Hendricks over any amount of time, 367 in their career meetings, 3 homers, all have been solo shots. A man on for Votto with 2 down. With the shift, plenty of room. He went the other way, and it's rolling into left field. Castellanos makes it to third. That's the way to handle the shift.
He was out in front of that one right off the end of the bat.
Tyler Naquin stepping up to bat. As Castellanos making sure he could make it to third, and does easily. First and third, 2 down. Tyler Naquin had a home run yesterday. Bothered by a sore right wrist last couple of starts. Had that 5th inning homer that snapped a season high 0 for 13 skid, which helped the Reds to the 3-2 win on Saturday afternoon here. Hendricks trying to get through the first inning. Fouled away.
Home run Naquin hit yesterday off Adbert Alzolay was a changeup. It was down, but inner half of the plate. I think Hendricks and Contreras want to make sure they do their work inside. A little fastball with some cutting action in on the hands there. Just because he homered on the changeup yesterday obviously doesn't mean you don't throw one today, especially when you are Kyle Hendricks and you have such a good one. But he wants to make sure Naquin's not sitting on that pitch. And if he feels like he is, he'll keep throwing the fastball in.
The 1-2. That misses, so count even now. First inning trouble spot for Kyle Hendricks. Cubs got a run on the top half. Could have got more, but a double play got Miley out of that mess. Just got a piece. That homer for Naquin, his 13th of the season, his career best, 14 home runs. So he's got power. Hendricks cautious here. Time call. Fans want action.
He's been at his best under pressure. He's so good exploiting the aggressive nature of the hitters. Hitters get up there, men in scoring position. They get greedy. They want to swing, and he'll throw that strike the ball change up, that little floater, kind of feather it down and away.
Well, had a quick strikeout to start the game. 20th pitch here with 2 on and 2 out. And a 2-2 to Tyler Naquin.
Good try. Come on back, two-seam fastball. Had him leaning to cover the outside corner. Thought they could freeze him, and they did. Just didn't get the movement all the way back to the corner.
Good eye from Naquin.
Now, this has been a good battle.
And strike three. Good work, Kyle Hendricks. A professorial pitch. Nico Horner. First game since late May. He'll lead off the second.
Cubs up 1-0 as we get ready for the top of the second, and you can see Nico Horner leading off this inning. Of course, then he was activated off the IL. That means Sergio Alcantara, he was optioned to AAA. And you know, JD, you joke that possibly just Horner being in this lineup, the contact that we saw in that first inning, 3 hits could be rubbing off on these guys. Well, I tell you what, Horner said before the game that more than anything, he said, results aside, maybe he can just provide a fresh energy to this lineup. And he's certainly energized out there, calling this kind of an opening day of sorts, just really thankful to be out there.
Yeah, nice to see him back. And you know, I think his real value is going to be maybe not necessarily against guys like Miley, but some of the more power arms, the strikeout type pitchers. I think that's where Nico really can provide a difference. As usual with Miley out there, a busy day for the left side of the infield.
Swung at the first pitch, did Horner. Eugenio Suarez from third threw him out. Jake Marisnick steps in. Right-handed bat against the lefty. High drive, center field, on the run. Naquin can't get it. Marisnick. He's going to head to third. And he will make it easily with a one-out triple.
Nice start of the afternoon for Jake Marisnick, who has not had a lot of success since returning from the IL. He hasn't had a lot of opportunities. We're getting a start here today against the left-hander. Fun to watch him run. He pumps this one between Naquin and Castellanos out there in right center, all the way to the wall it goes. Looked like Naquin had a shot at it, as you see from our T-Mobile coverage cam. And once it gets by him and off the wall, Marisnick's thinking 3.
Ian Happ steps in. Happ goes back to the outfield. Had played second base first few games of the series, but with the return of Nico Horner, University of Cincinnati product, trying to drive in a run here. All we need is a fly ball. By the way, the 3 hits in the opening inning that produced a run, it was the most hits in one inning for the Cubs since the top of the first, when they got 5 hits and scored 7 runs against the Brewers on June 30th.
Happ, he's got to really work hard to keep his hands inside the ball and try to get this ball airborne. That's easier said than done with the Miley cutter coming down and in. The profile of Happ's swing and Miley's stuff, you think ground ball to the left side of the infield. This will be a go-on contact situation for Marisnick.
Happ 2 for 7 in the series is a walk, 3 strikeouts. And a chance here with Marisnick at third. Tried to hold up. Corey Blazer, first base umpire, says all good here. Now a 3-2 count.
In this situation, you go into the at-bat thinking, I'm looking for something up that I can get airborne. So you see it up and you want to get after it, but clearly that was way too high and just able to check.
Big strikeout for Wade Miley.
Pretty consistent with that cutter in throughout that at bat. Can Hendricks help himself?
Toward right, got a good cut at it. Foul ball. Cubs scored a run yesterday when Ortega came home on a pass ball. Bouncer up the middle and through for an RBI and a 2-0 lead. How about that, Kyle Hendricks?
How about that indeed? It's a little 9-hopper right through the middle of the infield. Gets the job done. And it gets Ian Happ off the hook. Bangs it off the dirt in front of home plate, and boing, boing, boing into center field she goes.
Already the Cubs delivering with runners in scoring position. That sounds nice.
Cash in that 1-out triple. Ooh. Not sure about that, Sam.
What was that? Back to the top of the order with Contreras. So Cutter looked like.
I looked up a little bit. And they're discussing it.
Sam Holbrook is the home plate umpire. We had Jim Wolf and then Nestor Ceja in the first 2 games of the series. Suarez busy at third. Got a second for the shorter out. But the Cubs scratch out another one. The triple by Marisnick and Kyle Hendricks, who will go to the mound, knocks in a run for a 2-0 Cubs lead.
Hey, welcome back, everybody.
Cubs with that 2-0 lead as Hendricks, who knocks in the run, will go to the mound here to start the second and face Eugenio Suarez, who his little looper yesterday brought in Votto with what turned out to be the game-winning run. 3-2 Saturday, 2-1 Friday night. Reds have had the key hits and enough pitching. David Ross was frustrated a little bit that they thought they did a good job working the starters for Cincinnati, and then thought, hey, we get to the bullpen, we'll be able to take advantage, and they just haven't been able to do that.
Yeah, the Reds bullpen has been good here lately. They've mostly awful all year long, but lately they've turned it up a notch, and it's interesting because they've been able to do it with some of their key guys down, and that certainly has been the case in this series. And Malley out after 5 innings yesterday. Doolittle, Hendricks, Osich, and Hembree finishing things off.
Yeah, they used 5 pitchers yesterday, 6 on Friday night, a lot of mixing and matching.
Yeah, Sonny Gray went 5 in the opener.
And they had, Gray in some moments where he was off, and Tyler Malley especially, chances to knock him out of the game. But at least the story so far here is a couple of runs on the board. Of course, they've had brief 1 or 2 run leads in the early part of the first 2 games. Hendricks helping himself a moment ago. Suarez steps in. Batting average, don't let it fool you. He's got some power, and as we said, a key hit. Guy was benched a few games ago, but has been out there in this series. First pitch swinging and fouls that off.
No surprise to see Kyle Hendricks 0-1. High percentage of first pitch strikes.
Tough play. Wisdom throws. Got him. The rookie all over that. Showed his arm strength on target to first.
Yeah, we got a battle of the third baseman here this afternoon. Suarez has made a couple of nice plays. Certainly has in this series. And Patrick Wisdom, that arm is a difference maker down there. He guns this ball over to first base.
Rookie of the month in June. With Horner at second, Wisdom at third. Baez at short, Rizzo, of course, at first. Chris Bryant in right. Ian Happen left with Peterson having the day off, and then Marisnick in center field. Here's Kyle Farmer. Fouled away. His first season, it's his 5th major league season, 3rd with the Reds, but this is the first season that Farmer's had more than 200 at bats. He's been very steady, reliable at short for Cincinnati. A little high.
It's a really a rare combination, a guy who can both catch and play shortstop. Really ever find that combination.
And that hit him. Inside pitch, looked like Contreras got it off the deflection.
Rossi taking a little time to see whether he wants to challenge this play or not. They might have heard something in the dugout that led them to believe that hit the bat and not the hand of Kyle Farmer.
Let's check the hand. Or the wrist of Contreras. Not sure why he stepped away like he was hurting. That's a tough call that it hit the bottom part of the bat. Ruled hit by pitch. Tucker Barnhart, the veteran catcher, steps in hitting .262 with 4 home runs. Farmer a better than average runner at first. Driven to left. That ball is going to be over the head of Ian Happ. And Farmer, he is headed home. And the throw is late, and he will score. The Reds are on the board.
Barnhart flashing a little opposite field power, something you typically don't see from him. Ian Happ got turned around a little bit on this drive off the bat of Barnhart. Pretty good approach against Hendricks with that sinker changeup combination away. You try to pull it, it's a meek little ground ball to the right side.
RBI double as Farmer comes in, and the Reds are on the board. Just as Kyle Hendricks helped himself with an RBI, Wade Miley will have that opportunity.
Yeah, he can swing it a little bit. One of the better hitting pitchers in the league.
Does have a home run, has knocked in 12 over his career. Toward left, Happ hesitated, comes in and grabs it for out number 2. That was almost disastrous for the Cubs.
Well, they really shortened up on him, as you would expect, so playing shallow, able to haul this one in. It's time for our Geico Making It Look Easy replay. Though he didn't really make it look easy, did he?
No, it made it look difficult. I was a little concerned when I saw that step, and then, as if that would have gotten by, that might have rolled for a while. But he hauled it in. For out number 2, back to the top of the order with Jonathan India. Struck out his first time. Both pitchers have hit the ball well with their first at bats. India, their energy guy, but the Cubs pitching have kept him off the bases for the most part in this series. There's a strike.
Yeah, India getting to claim all this playing time due to injuries to Moustakas and Senzel. He was on the verge of being sent out. He'd gone through a bit of a slump, but injuries allowed him to stay on the roster, and he has seized his opportunity. He's been a real presence at the top of the order for the Reds.
Had a hot June, hit 309 through the 29th of the month.
Top of the order guy, what are you supposed to do? Get on base, and that he has done since June 1st, a .433 on base percentage, trailing only his teammate Stevenson and Justin Turner of the Dodgers.
Stevenson, the rookie who caught yesterday in the Reds' 3-2 win. Fouled away. So he's got curveball, then sinker. And that pitch fouled back, so 1-2 ahead in the count for Hendricks, and another curveball a moment ago. Foul ball.
Struck him out in the first inning, worked him down, and then climbed the ladder with a fastball to get swing and miss.
Should India reach, Jesse Winker would be next. He has 19 homers and big RBI guy. Struck him out. For the second time, Hendricks gives up a run but gets out of further trouble. We'll go to the third, a 2-1 Cubs lead.
Hey, there she is, Russ, the mighty Ohio River. 2-1. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Cubs lead. The Cubs strongly encourage the use of all public transportation, especially CTA buses and trains. On nights and weekends, the Cubs offer free remote parking and shuttle services to Wrigley Field. For all games, the Cubs offer a free bike check. That's located by the Addison Red Line station. For all details, visit Cubs.com/transportation.
With Elise Medeker down on the field, Jim Deshaies, JD, I'm Chris Myers, and hope you're enjoying your 4th of July. Cubs with a 2-1 advantage leading off the third. It's Bryant, Rizzo, and Baez, and those were the guys who delivered hit, and an RBI. Quick swinging on the first pitch in the opening inning for the Cubs. JD will be driving back after this game to get back to
the Great American Road Trip.
is coming to an end from the Great American Ballpark. Driven to left, but foul. Got a good cut. In the hole, 0-2 is Chris Bryant.
And Miley really insistent the way he pitches. Just keeps pounding you in with that cutter. Now with 2 strikes, he's more likely to elevate four-seam or try changeup down and away. And be careful with KB with those numbers against left-handed pitching. Making a solid commitment to the cutter here. Right back in there.
And right at the shortstop, Farmer positioned well and made the play for out number 1.
We had a quick shot of Miley looking in at Barnhart. You saw him just kind of take his head and kind of not really nod it, but tilt it to the side, basically telling Barnhart, let's go back in there.
Anthony Rizzo singled his first time. Takes a strike. Bounces one up there. In his 10th season as the Cubs first baseman. And 10 consecutive seasons with 10 home runs or more.
I hope Riz put a little bullfrog on his biceps today. I don't get to see him get a little sunburn on July 4th.
Gotta be careful that doesn't rub off on somebody who's pitching. A sticky situation. We're not talking about the humidity. Driven to center, left center. Naquin has to watch it fall in front. It gets by him. And Rizzo will make it to second base. Anthony Rizzo, 2 for 2.
Cubs getting some pretty good swings at Miley here this afternoon. KB line to short to start the inning, and this ball absolutely scorched by Anthony. And Naquin, I'm not sure exactly what was going on with him out there in center field, but he turned this line drive single into a double. I think he got caught in between, thinking he could maybe make a play on it. Do I come? Do I go? Do I wade back? And just a misplay by Naquin, but a two-base hit for Rizzo. That means a double. Brought to you by Elgin Hyundai, home of the double warranty, 20 years, 200,000 miles on every new car purchase. Only at Elgin Hyundai. Go to elginhyundai.com.
And that brings up Javier Baez with a chance to bring Rizzo home. Knocked in his 50th run of the season in the opening inning, and this is a bouncer. Suarez gets him at first. Runner holds. There's 2 away for Patrick Wisdom. Wisdom hit into a double play that ended the threat for the Cubs in that first inning. Those 11 home runs, record setting when he got the opportunity to come up and play. Duffy, Bodie, injured Cubs. Horner returns today. 0 for 1 already, and the strike is in there. Nico Horner is on deck. Bouncer looked like it went through the legs of Anthony Rizzo, but got him at first. 2.5. Cubs up 2-1.
Sports Network for a special game broadcast auction throughout Tuesday's Cubs-Phillies game. We will be highlighting one-of-a-kind items that are open for bidding, like a signed Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth ball. How about that? And much more. Proceeds from the evening benefit the Anthony Rizzo Foundation. It all starts Tuesday at 7. This is, of course, the anniversary of the Lou Gehrig's luckiest man on the face of the earth speech, July 4th, 1939.
It's a terrific movie. Gary Cooper.
Pride of the Yankees.
Good stuff. Stays with you. And thanks for staying with us. Marquee Sports Network is Jesse Winker, the All-Star that has been just another guy when facing Cubs pitching. But this is a player who has had 2 games with 3 home runs. Most recent was against the Cardinals. That was on June 6th. First Red ever with multiple 3-homer games in one season. Shot at first, but that's Rizzo territory, and Hendricks covering out number 1. Nick Castellanos coming to the plate. Reds putting 2 outfielders starting in the All-Star game. All-Star reserves pitchers also supposed to be announced later today. Keep an eye on Craig Kimbrell, maybe Andrew Chafin getting a mention. 342, 16 homers. He's driven in 53 runs. And he had a hit his first time up against Hendricks. In there for a first pitch strike. Joey Votto waiting on deck.
if you watch Hendricks and Miley, they both work quickly. Miley to an extreme, but they rarely wander from the dirt. Take the pitch, get the ball back, never turn their back on the catcher.
Castellanos OPS of 989. That's 150 better than his career average, and thus the All-Star. First to 100 hits in the majors. Fouls that. Now 2-2. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Tatis, Otani. Look at OPS, all-star starters. Gets a piece of that. Battle for second place in the National League Central. Cubs a half game back of the Reds, and then Milwaukee trying to win its 12th straight. Brewers are playing in Pittsburgh on this Independence Day.
See if Uncle Charlie shows up here. Oh, another sinker. Castellanos, for a high average hitter, goes out of the strike zone a lot. He loves to swing the bat, and every now and then you can get him to chase a pitch way off the plate. And he does have a below average or better than average strikeout rate. Doesn't get beat in the zone very often.
Toward left, Happ backing up, and on the track, hauls it in.
Do you have electrical work you need done? Visit poweringchicago.com and click the Find a Contractor button to learn more. Powering Chicago, IBEW Local 134, NECA, Chicago.
2 down here in the third. Cubs up 2-1. Joey Votto, who singled in the opening inning during this 11-game homestand for the Reds. He's hitting over 350 with 3 homers, 3 doubles, and he's driven in 7.
Proving that you're never too old or too accomplished to make changes. He's much more upright in the batter's box now. Kind of looks a little bit like Winker at setup. Maybe he saw what Jesse was doing and said, hey, I'm going to give that a try.
I've done other things to produce. 37-year-old from Toronto, Canada. Strike.
It's always fun to watch these Hendricks-Votto matchups, two of the great thinkers in the game.
At 2-1, what's Hendricks thinking? Strike.
I was thinking, boy, I hope I get this pitch that's 4 inches off the outside corner.
They talk about painting the corners. That's just sketch stuff there.
Painting with a broad brush.
A high pop, short left, and Happ has it. Votto out number 3. We have completed 3 on the 4th of July from Great American Ballpark. Nico Horner coming up, just activated. Our Duncan poll question of the day. Your favorite 4th of July activity? Fireworks, grilling outdoor. Of course, that involves food and eating. Watching baseball, going to the beach, or Independence Day parades. Go to MarqueeSportsNetwork.com/vote. Cast your vote. We appreciate you participating as Nico Horner again swinging in the first pitch. His first at bat after being activated here. He bounced to Suarez at third and was thrown out. How about you, JD?
Well, I'm thinking we're gonna combine the grilling with the food and the watching of the baseball.
All right.
That would be the proper response.
I was going to say, you could probably, if you sorted it out and planned ahead, get all that in one day. I'm a big beach guy if I'm near one. Love the water. So that I'd start with that. Again, third, tough play. Suarez, long throw. Got him.
Wow.
And a stretch by Votto, who says, hey, you did a nice job over there grabbing that. Looked like that ball was going to be foul.
Yeah, there's been a lot of balls peppered in that direction, and so far today, Suarez has been up to the task. Nico with a bid for extra bases, gets the hands pulled in, is going to try to shoot one down the line, but Suarez in denial mode. How's that hammy feeling?
What do you think?
Boom, 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 boom. Looks good.
Yeah, it was interesting hearing him and David Ross talk about all of the, in terms of the rehab and the coming back, the different types of tests that they put Horner through with to make sure the speed, the endurance was there for that comeback. Out since late May. 35 games missed. Now Marisnick up here. He tripled and then scored and has another base hit. Marisnick now 2 for 2. He scored when Kyle Hendricks drove him in.
And Jake, a couple really solid swings. A little stumble out of the box here, or he might have thought about taking 2 bases too. We mentioned Cubs have been aggressive running on the corner outfielders of the Reds, and you watch Winker. He gets this one in a hurry and gets it back in a hurry as well. I'm sure they've been reminded, look, these guys are looking to take extra bases. Won't be lollygagging out there.
Check of the runner. Marisnick runs well. Got a Gold Glove catcher. And Ian Happ, who struck out in his first at bat when there were runners on, and had Marisnick over at third. And he was bailed out by Hendricks RBI. Let's check in with Elise.
Well, JD mentioned the aggressiveness on the base paths, especially with those corner outfield spots with the Reds, with Winker and Castellanos. And in talking to third base coach Willie Harris yesterday before the game, you know, he knows his team well, having coached in the organization, but it's part of his prep is knowing the arms in the outfield. He looks at video. He said with this team, he didn't have to look at as much video because he's more familiar with them, but he knows the speed of his players, and that all goes into the decisions he's making as these players are running.
Thank you, Elise. 9th game this year between these two teams in the division. There's a bouncer back to the pitcher who's going to go to second, get one, and first. Happ hits into the double play. And Wade Miley gets out of it. 2-1, Cubs hanging on, bottom of the 4th. Chicago lead as we go to the bottom of the 4th. The Cubs have had an early 1-run lead, at least in the first 2 games of this series with the Reds. Here's a look at our upcoming schedule, brought to you by American Family Insurance. Home after the long road trip, longest road trip of the year. 4 games with the Phils at Wrigley. And then the Cardinals in before the All-Star break. Zach Davies will get the start Monday. He was the starter on that combined no-hitter against the Dodgers for the Cubs. That was the last Cubs victory as they try and end the 8-game losing streak.
Phillies are in 4th place in the NL East, just 4 games back. And they're looking to sweep the series against San Diego Padres this afternoon.
And there's the pitchers, JD, how they stack up.
Yeah, so Nola, not having his best year, but he's top of the line type starter. Zach Wheeler having a big year. Eflin can be solid. Matt Moore, the most beatable of the bunch. As Davies, Arrieta, Mills, and Alzolay lined up to go for the Cubs.
And after the Phillies with the Cardinals coming in, the Cardinals 10 games off the lead and 2 games below 500. Part of that NL Central race.
Currently isn't much of a race. There's a creative young man.
Does that get in the way? You're looking at the game between the sunglasses and the hat and the fan.
It's got a little window of opportunity there.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you're right. It's appropriately placed.
Yeah.
Looks like it also could be a breathing apparatus.
I think maybe it's something Ron Popeil put together.
Let's see. Yeah, he better be careful trying to eat cotton candy. Tyler Naquin steps in. By the way, Brewers are trailing the Pirates, bottom of the 4th in Pittsburgh, 1-0. Cardinals play a little later. That's Colorado. And Reds and Cubs battling in second place. As you said, yeah, not much of a race. That's what a long winning streak will do for you. Look, the Cubs won 6 in a row, and that's all it takes is for you to get hot, others in the division to stumble.
Yeah, you don't want to look at the math right now. When you look at the playoff odds, it doesn't look really good for the boys in blue, but you never know. Still half a season left.
Yeah, I remember those. I covered for in the postseason the Cardinals 2006 World Series champs. They had 2 8-game losing streaks during the course of the year. A surprise World Series winner. Anything's possible with a half a season to go. And gets the strike.
Cubs in this losing streak and the Brewers' hot streak, they've basically moved from probable to possible when you consider their playoff chances. And there's that wide zone again from Sam Holbrook. Kyle Hendricks can exploit that.
Fouled away, now 3-2. Yeah, good point on the hot run, and now you're closer to the wild card positioning, but Padres have stumbled a little bit lately, but the Dodgers are right up there with the Giants. Giants' best record in all of baseball still. Red Sox best in the American League. Here's the defensive positioning and the shift for Naquin. Towards center field, and Marisnick there. Gliding in for the out.
You see a whole lot of that when Kyle Hendricks is on his game. Just guys reaching to make contact. Keeping them off the fat part of the bat. Down off the end of the bat, in on the hands. A generator of weak contact. Tommy Lasorda managing in AAA, the story goes many years ago, he's managing in Albuquerque and their team had lost 9 in a row. So to rally the troops, he gave a big fiery speech in which he said, the 27 Yankees even lost 9 games in a row, which of course wasn't true.
But nobody checked.
Nobody checked. No, nobody was Googling it back then.
That was a little bit different. Hey, if it's sold at the moment.
Yeah. This can happen to anybody.
Just make up a number. Yeah. Suarez with his good defense today. He's 0 for 1. In fact, we were making the point last inning, JD, the Reds have played terrific defense throughout this series.
Yeah, infield defense in particular. Suarez put on a little bit of a clinic over there. Farmer's been really good. Joey Votto started a big double play yesterday. David Bell has to be really thrilled with what he's seen from his infield group.
And Wade Miley a moment ago snagging that ball the way he worked with his infielders.
Yeah, that's a play a lot of pitchers don't even try. That's kind of an awkward throw.
Another good crowd. We've had 3 straight days. And that is the 4th strikeout for Kyle Hendricks.
Hey, Eugenio, meet my Uncle Charlie. He doesn't come around often to visit, but every now and then he does, and usually has something good to say, like, been nice seeing you.
Does Uncle Charlie hang around with your Uncle Randy?
Yeah, Uncle Charlie is Cousin Randy's dad.
Cousin Randy, sorry. I got your relatives, your in-laws, or are they your outlaws? I don't know. 2 down in the 4th for Kyle Hendricks facing Kyle Farmer. Now, Farmer was hit by a pitch. Doubled in by Tucker Barnhart for the only run of the game for the Reds. That was back in the 2nd inning. This is Wisdom at 3rd. Out number 3. We've gone through 4. Hendricks looking sharp, and the Cubs up 2-1. Cubs baseball on Marquee Sports Network is brought to you by your local Hyundai dealer, who invite you to test drive an award-winning Hyundai car or SUV today. Find a dealer nearest you at buyhyundai.com. By Miller Lite, the original white beer. By Advocate Healthcare, step up to the plate and take your shot. And by Wintrust, proud legacy partner of the Chicago Cubs and exclusive home of Cubs Checking. Kyle Hendricks stepped up to the plate and knocked in a run. Second run of the game for the Cubs, who hold that 2-1 lead as he bats in the 5th against Wade Miley. Ahead 1-2.
Miley from a small town in Louisiana, Loranger. I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
You speak Cajun French.
Yeah, Cajun.
Bounces out for out number 1. Yeah, I think he still lives. He's an avid, from a young age, an avid hunter. Still lives back in Louisiana in the off season.
Been known to hunt an alligator or two.
He's got a ranch near Austin, Texas as well. An alligator, huh?
So the story goes.
You ever had alligator, barbecued alligator?
I've had fried alligator.
Fried alligator. Okay.
Tastes like chicken.
Not a 4th of July delicacy. That's something that
probably is down there. Yeah. Down in Bayou country.
Crawfish is the big.
Ooh,
right?
baby.
Have a crawfish boil.
Oh, yeah.
Some barbecued shrimp.
Mm-hmm. It's good living.
Leadoff hitter Contreras 0 for 2.
Said his hometown had a gas station, a store, and a school. Didn't even have a stoplight.
I'm amazed how many, when you look at the roster, where players, where they've come from across the United States and even around the world, different countries, that how many small towns, I mean, where they just, their abilities separated them, whether they grew up on a farm or not in the country, wherever, found their way to in some organization and eventually to the big leagues.
Yeah, and I think it used to be more so. There was, small towns and even inner city baseball. There's, that's been a big issue. They haven't been able to recruit athletes from the inner city. Kids aren't playing baseball in the cities like they did a generation or two ago.
Toward left center, and Contreras is on. And let's see if he's going to go for 2. He is. The throw is in time, and he's out.
Yeah, he hesitated and thought maybe I shouldn't, and then the little demon on the other shoulder said, go, go, go. And that little demon was wrong. The demon that said stay put was right this time. Big hustle double for him yesterday. And again, I think the mindset is to push here, but this was a little more reckless as opposed to aggressive.
Especially with Chris Bryant, who's 6 for 9, and then Rizzo, who's got a couple of hits today following here. But that's out number 2. And here is Bryant as a home run of the series.
And 2 good swings today, solid single and a line out to short. We have 3 on the left side of the infield for him. The outfielders are deep pretty much straight away.
Doesn't get it, lunging at that.
And you may see Miley now, 3rd time through the order, start to work away a little bit more. Turn the ball over, throw that changeup down and away, as opposed to that steady diet of cutters in.
Now 2-2. Chris Bryant, for a ballpark, Great American Small Park, I think is what Sean Marshall called it. It's known for, you can hit it out of here. He's the only guy on the Cubs who homered in the series. That's another way to put pressure on the Cincinnati outfield, is drive the ball deep, drive it to the track, even if it doesn't get out. 328 down the left field line, a little easier down the right field line. And good work, Chris Bryant working a walk. Let's check in with Elise.
Of course, when the offense is struggling, you like to see those walks. What you don't as much like to see is Contreras thrown out at second. But I tell you what, before the game, David Ross was talking about that. And he says when you have that aggressive base running, it shows you that your team is engaged. Now, you don't want to run into outs, as he was saying, because that can snowball. But he does like the aggressiveness. It's saying, showing him that they're staying engaged in the moment. They're staying ready for, the Reds' mistakes. But more than anything, he just wants them to get it done at the plate. Walks, singles, hits.
Thank you, Elise. And David Ross has a walk and a runner at first with Anthony Rizzo up, who's 2 for 2. Single and a double.
Running on Miley is really hard to do throughout the course of his career. Would-be base stealers.
Is it because of the way he works?
Yeah, he's got a really good move, and he's really quick to the plate, and he's left-handed.
So he's got that look at the runner. In there for a strike.
Since he's been in the big leagues, the league average caught stealing percentage, and this might not be the most eloquent way to phrase it, is 28%. With him on the mound, it's 53%. So basically, statistically, it's a no-go.
Well, you got a hot hitter, at least hot today. And not talking temperature with Rizzo. Hoping for a 3-hit game.
If you're going to run, it would be more a run and hit or a hit and run scenario where you're just trying to stay out of a double play, because he does get a lot of ground balls. Obviously, with 2 outs, it's not an issue here.
Doesn't get it. Miley has 1 strikeout to go with 1 walk.
Time to play pepper with somebody. Choke up. And a line drive out there to Naquin.
End of the inning. Missed opportunity there. A couple of them. But the Cubs hanging on. 2-1 going to the bottom of the 5th. Quick check of our game summary brought to you by Wintrust. Good pitcher's duel so far. Kyle Hendricks with 4 strikeouts, hadn't walked anybody, and helped his cause with an RBI. That's the difference.
Feels like we're in 1968 and somewhere other than Cincinnati. Summer weekend here, you figure you're going to see at least one 9-7 kind of ball game, but 2-1, 3-2, and now 2-1 again here this afternoon.
Tucker Barnhart, who knocked in a run, that double, his first time up, fouls that away. Reds have won 3 straight, trying to sweep the Cubs. It'd be their first since 2018. That was a 4-game series. Faking the bunt, or at least thinking about trying to bunt. And it's 0-2.
Yeah, he had, obviously with this shift on, he had designs on dropping a bunt towards third base and just couldn't pull the bat back in time.
It'll be Barnhart, then Wade Miley, and then Jonathan India. Kyle Hendricks, this is 20th career start against the Reds, 6-5 record, but the ERA against them throughout his career over 4.5. Highest ERA against any of the 10 teams that he's made 7 or more starts against. Foul ball. Didn't start against Cincinnati in either of the first 2 series between these teams.
His most recent work in this ballpark has been pretty ugly, so I'll be feeling pretty good about the way things have gone down here this afternoon. Career-wise here at the Great American Ballpark, the numbers for Kyle Hendricks: 10 starts, 2-5 with a 6.67 ERA. And his last 3 starts here, that ERA is up over 12.
Well hit, but foul.
So I guess you could expect a little regression. He's a really good pitcher. You figure that run of bad work was not going to continue.
If he truly is the professor, he'll study up and correct things that he needs to. And so far, so good. Now a full count. Trying to become the first 11-game winner in the majors. He is Kyle Hendricks. Tapped towards second. Out number 1.
Another beer or something different?
How about this super filling IPA?
Son, you want a dark beer.
Aged with goat's milk.
Dark beer!
How about a bourbon ginger highball?
With that shift on, Baez over there getting the out. Warner back, in case you weren't with us from the beginning, getting the start at second base. And a tough play for Wisdom over his head. And Wade Miley gets a base hit today. Pitchers who rake.
Look at these pitchers hit, man. And there are those that would argue that they shouldn't be allowed to.
Well, I just think, what do you think? Universal DH. I mean, it's. He had it last year. Thought that might be one of the things that would stick, but that was a nice. He hit the ball pretty well first time. And Happ needed to make a play and left, or a run might have scored. Miley is on with one out in the fifth. 75th pitch of the game for Kyle Hendricks. This is Jonathan India. And Hendricks drops it a strike.
You know, Jerry Seinfeld has that series, Comedians in Cars Drinking Coffee. There should be a series of runners on first talking to Rizzo. That would be something I would tune into.
Be entertaining over the course of the season.
He or Votto.
Fouled away. Yeah, that could be a regular stop.
And we'll talk to Anthony tomorrow. Get on the scoop on the auction on Tuesday's game, benefiting his foundation.
Yeah, we hope you participate. People get involved, help out. The 0-2. Jonathan India is 0 for 2. Base hit left field between third and short. Pushes Miley out to second. 2 on now with 1 out. Big hitters coming up, and Jesse Winker and Nick Castellanos.
At a crisis point in this ball game now for Hendricks, as he'll face the meat of the order for the third time, and he'll come with a couple of guys on base. Slow curveball. India, who had struck out his first 2 times up, one on a high fastball, one on a changeup, finds the curveball more to his liking and pulls it through the hole on the left side. Solid single. See if the professor can dial up a ground ball here from Winker.
Wonder how long you can keep guys like Jesse Winker and Nick Castellanos in check with the years, the first half of the year, I should say, that they've had, as productive as they've been.
Well, it's a big moment, and it is worthy of a conversation, just to make sure you've got the right set of signs with the man on second base and are on the same page in terms of how they want to go after Winker here.
So in comes Baez with Contreras and Kyle Hendricks. Winker coming into this series, coming into this game, a .350 hitter against Kyle Hendricks. He does have a home run against him. Oh for 2 today for the Reds' all-star outfielder. Ball 2.
And that runner across the top of the strike zone, just a little bit high.
Fouled away. It'll be 2-1 with Castellanos on deck. The weight of a losing streak on the shoulders of Kyle Hendricks. It's given the Cubs 4 good innings with 1 out in the 5th and 2 on.
They're just out of sync. The timing is not there. Not just this series, but lately he's been scuffling the last 10 games, hitting $156.
The 2-2 to Winker. Outside. Hendricks has not yet walked anybody. He did hit Kyle Farmer with a pitch. Farmer later scored.
Well, obviously a big pitch coming here, and I think, either the sinker or changeup down and away, or maybe try that 2-seamer in on the hands again, try to get it to run back to the inside corner.
A shot. Horner. They get 1. They get 2. What a double play. Big pitch from Hendricks, and Horner was all over it. The Reds threaten but do not score.
And the Baez arm, such a difference maker on this play. Magnificent.
Happy Independence Day from all of us at Marquee Sports Network and the Cubs family. Cubs up 2-1 as we play here in the 6th inning. And a base runner on every inning. Protecting a 2-1 lead. That double play got Hendricks out of trouble, and so it's the Reds today who are having trouble with runners in scoring position.
Cubs have been held to 8 hits or fewer in 20 consecutive ball games. Right at the 8-hit mark here this afternoon.
And they've out-hit Cincinnati in the first 2 games of this series, losing 1-run games. Baez knocked in the first run in the cleanup spot. He'll be followed by Wisdom and then Nico Horner.
Talked about the tempo with which Miley works. Reminds you, a little bit of Mark Burley. I go back to Tom Browning
in a Reds uniform.
Yeah. Matter of fact, the delivery very much like Browning's. Good let up there. Tucker Barnhart said, when teams try to combat this, he says when guys start stepping out on them, that's when I know we're in their heads.
Bouncer third. Suarez kicks it around a little, and so does Farmer, the shortstop, and Baez is on. It was sharply hit. Suarez played good defense. We just talked about it. Maybe we jinxed him.
Yeah, well, he's had a lot of chances today, and he's been up to the task. It's just a little awkward the way he went after this one, and then I don't know if it hit the lip of the grass, but watch, this ball just stays down. Doesn't come up at all for him. And the way he's retreating on this ball with Baez going down the line, he's not going to be able to step into that throw. I think if he had to do it all over again, he would have pursued that ball and tried to charge it. And that'll go as an E5.
Wisdom takes ball one. He's had opportunities here, hitting fifth today, hit into a double play and a bounce out when Cubs had runners on. Now a 2-0 count.
This is an interesting battle that has been won twice by Miley here today by putting Wisdom on the ground, and Patrick usually pretty good at getting the ball airborne.
Well hit, but foul toward left.
He broke his bat.
Sounded awkward. Mentioned his 9 homers in his first 20 games this season, joining Hank Sauer back in 1949. The only players to hit 9 or more homers in their first 20 games of a season since 1901. And he had in that Milwaukee, when he was at first base, that crazy play, suffered neck stiffness at first and then had a left eye contusion with that collision, but no concussion. Able to get back in the lineup and work on the count. 3-1 the count in a 2-1 game. Now 3-2.
Wisdom hoping to get a 3-1 fastball there, but it's changeup and he's well out in front of it. Changeup that really wasn't all that well located.
Center field driven. Naquin back. Stays in the park for out number 1. Brings up Nico Horner. Was hitting .338 with 7 doubles in 21 games. 24-year-old suffered that strained left hamstring. Went on the injured list May 26th. Brought up today. Sergio Alcantara optioned out at AAA. You heard Elise Menaker on the story earlier. Checker the runner. So it was like a personal opening day for him to come back, and hopes to provide some fresh energy.
Hey, here's where they might play a little hit and run with Horner's ability to put the ball in play.
Baez, the leading base stealer for the Cubs, and the signals for Horner.
Miley with a no-hitter back on May 7th against Cleveland. The previous start was against the Cubs here in Cincinnati. Went 5 innings, allowed a couple of runs. His start after the no-hitter, you talk about a humbling game. 3+ innings in Colorado, and he gave up 8.
Foul ball. That's like after you get a birdie, right? When you're playing golf and everybody's watching, and then you double bogey
Make
the
a
next.
snowman, yeah.
Or a triple.
Yeah. That's one, after the no-hitter, you should be able to say, you know what, I'm not going to take that start in Colorado. I'm going to use my exemption.
My exempt card. All right, in the hole, 0-2. And Miley wastes one. Jake Marisnick, who has tripled and singled, is on deck.
Miley came into this game with a 3.09 ERA. If you take that Colorado start out, it's 2.29, and would likely be headed to the All-Star game.
That misses. Good eye from Horner. He's got to be a little rusty at this level in terms of, you can see with some of his swings, but that lower part of the order getting some contact there to just help keep the lineup moving, keep pressure on the pitcher and the defense. Something they hope when Horner is totally back can help out with, but that's a big strikeout. That's part of the game where in this series strikeouts have hurt.
Now this whole trip, right, going from LA to Milwaukee, and you expected it, especially in Milwaukee with the pitching they were up against in that series. But, Miley's not a big strikeout guy, and that's just his 3rd one here this afternoon.
Here is Marisnik, 2 for 2. Getting the start in center field with Happen left and Chris Bryant at right. Come up with some big pinch hits as well. Hesitates, doesn't go.
Looks like he wants to go in again.
Yeah, Miley started him out with a cutter, came back with a cutter. With 2 down here in the 6th, Baez doesn't appear to be on the move. Hot hitter at the plate. There he goes. Baez is running, and Barnhart's throw is high, and Javier Baez with a steal. He was kind of casual. He didn't get a great lead. I wonder if that threw off Miley, or at least didn't make him as aware.
I think he was able to extend his lead just before the pitch was being delivered. He had a little momentum going, and the throw from Barnhart was high, so a rare stolen base against Wade Miley.
The 10th stolen base of this season for Baez. There's a shot to third. Suarez, who had the error, throws out Marisnik. Doesn't come to anything on the scoreboard, but Baez has an RBI and a stolen base today, and it's a 2-1 Cubs lead heading to the bottom half of the 6th. Wishing you a happy Independence Day, and our Duncan poll question: your favorite 4th of July activity? Go to MarqueeSportsNetwork.com to vote. At fireworks, right now that's up there right behind watching baseball, and then there's grilling food, going to the beach, and parades. We hope you jump in, and whichever one you choose, or however many you get through. Of course, with a 4th of July weekend, sometimes you can cover all those if you sort it out. We hope you're having a good one. The Cubs behind Hendricks, protecting a 2-1 advantage. Castellanos up there fouls the first pitch. 29-year-old All-Star in his 2nd year with the Reds. Remember, in 2019, the second half of the season he spent with the Cubs and did a good job as a Cub. 16 homers, OPS over 1,000 in 51 games when he played for Chicago. A shot at third. Wisdom snares that. Good scoop by Rizzo, and he's out.
Well, if you're a fan of third base play, you've come to the right place. A bunch of balls heading that direction here this afternoon. And Castellanos, when he was with the Cub, every time you looked up, he was standing on second base. He was not circling the bases. He had designs on a 2-base hit here, but Patrick Wisdom, Johnny on the spot to get him. This time the throw not quite as on the money as he usually is, but no issues.
And that smile first base too on the other end between Anthony Rizzo and Votto, as you pointed out. Suarez had that one miscue, but the ball took a funny bounce. But him and Patrick Wisdom at the hot corner, getting it over to first. And here is Joey Votto. 1 for 2. Mentioned from Canada, he's the 2-time Lou Marsh Trophy winner. That's Canada's Athlete of the Year. A long-time core of this Reds team.
Is Al Hackner on that list?
I don't have the entire list in front of me.
He was a great curler.
I know Marv Levy lives in Chicago, one of the few who are in the Canadian Football League Hall of Fame and the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Former Buffalo Bills coach. Cubs 2 runs, 9 hits. Reds have 1 run on 5 hits. Votto does make you work that count, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's just a fun battle between these two guys, trying to figure out what Hendricks is going to throw and what Votto's looking for.
Votto's led the NFL, JD, in on-base percentage some 7 seasons. Hits that high, deep. Marisnik back at the track and hauls it in. Wow.
Nothing for Joey. Kyle Hendricks used every bit of this ballpark. Marisnik there to haul it in. He's been working him up a lot today. This one above the belt. Votto gets through it. It's hit so high he knows it's either going to fly out of here or be caught.
See, Marisnik actually he doesn't. Yeah, he eventually does touch the wall, but he had that hand out early to make sure he knew where he was.
Searching, and and it's a tough sky today, and you prefer not to look away to find the wall, so you feel for it.
Marisnik had a couple of hits already in the game, has scored a run for the Cubs and played well out there. Tyler Naquin at the plate. Marisnik looking like a little like he could step in for Matthew McConaughey in one of those earlier movies. Naquin from Spring, Texas.
It's a Houston area. His story goes, as a kid, his dad would cut off broomsticks, and he and a buddy would go down in the creek and throw rocks to each other, and they'd hit him with the broomsticks.
Boy, that's as basic as you can get.
Yeah.
We talked about those stories where players come from and how they develop their skills. That is starting at the root of things. Doesn't get it, and that's out number 3. This Independence Day broadcast is presented by USAA, proudly serving the military community.
Memorable moment brought to you by Prevagen. On May 16, 2017, Cincinnati native Ian Happ bashed his 2nd career home run in only his 3rd career game. It was a solo shot off Bronson Arroyo, helping lead the Cubs to a 9-5 victory over the Reds. He was also the first Cub to homer in his first home and road game since Carmelo Martinez in 1983.
All right, thank you, Elise. Went to Mount Lebanon High School near Pittsburgh. Ian Happ swinging, drive toward left center. Naquin has that. All hanging up there a little bit. That's out number 1. And Taylor Gushue is now going to pinch hit for Kyle Hendricks. Hendricks 5 strikeouts. Didn't walk anybody. It hit a batter. Bullpen well rested. Catcher was called up after the Lobatone injury. 5 different catchers. I mean, they've had an injury list at that position. It's been used. Backing up Contreras, who's the most used catcher behind the plate this season in all of baseball. High pop for out number 2 in center. Dan Winkler getting loose.
Hendricks had 93 pitches on a warm day, so David Ross decides to go to the bench, turn it over to the bullpen. This was kind of the model from much of the Cubs' hot streak. Turn it over to Tepera, Chafin, Kimbrel. Tepera's on the IL.
Base hit Contreras. Last time he had a base hit, was thrown out trying to stretch it into a double, and quickly they get it into second base. We'll see if we need him. Kimbrel today got some work yesterday in that 3-2 defeat of the Cubs.
And so Winkler basically becomes Tepera with Ryan out of action.
I think most guys are ready to go. David Ross was telling me before the game had to check on maybe Adam Morgan. But Keegan, if you needed length, that's not the situation now. Rex Brothers and Chafin. But if the Cubs could get some more runs, it'd make it easier all the way around.
David Bell is not going to let Chris Bryant get a fourth look at Wade Miley here today.
Bryant with a hit, a walk, and a line out. 2 out in the 7th. A runner on.
Well, maybe he is going to let him get a fourth look. Nope.
91 pitches. That's going to be it for Wade Miley. This pitching change is brought to you by Lakeside Bank. Lakeside Bank, it's about time. Sports Network is brought to you by USAA, proud supporter of the military community. By Toyota, official vehicle of the Chicago Cubs. By Prevagen. Prevagen is the #1 pharmacist recommended memory support brand. And by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. Miley out of there, and from the bullpen wearing number 77. He's from Napoleon, Ohio. Art Warren is your relief pitcher.
We saw Warren in the ball game Friday. This is his 15th appearance, 13 innings, and a 2.08 ERA. He's allowed just the one long ball. Art Warren, maybe the least baseball-sounding name ever.
Yeah, it sounds like a city councilman or maybe an offensive line coach. Yeah, Friday, 2/3 of an inning, and it had a strikeout. In fact, the Reds bullpen, which was supposed to be let's just say a weak spot, 11 innings this weekend. And there is a foul ball. It was close, well hit. 11 innings against the Cub hitters and no runs allowed. Bryant almost had some more for Chicago.
Yeah, he's got up there ready to swing it today. Obviously feeling good about things, seeing the ball well. He swung at the first pitch at least 3 of his 4 plate appearances, maybe all 4. Warren's got a fastball that averages 95 miles per hour, but he'll lean more heavily on his slider.
Base runners every inning, just 2 runs on the board. A check on Contreras from Art Warren.
And who's your math teacher this year? Mr. Warren. Oh, yeah, Art Warren.
There you go, yeah. Mr. Warren. I'd like to do a little math in this inning. Let's see if we can total up some runs. Just a little more of a cushion in this ballpark. Another 1-run game with these two. Cubs have cut down on the strikeouts today. They've had base runners. The 1-1 to Bryant from Warren. Fouled away. Ten hits
today.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it had been 8 or fewer in each of the previous 20 ball games. Not a lot of slugging here today. A couple extra base hits. There's a double. Kind of a ball that was played into a double by Nake went out in center. Marisnik tripled in the second inning with 1 out. Came home on the Hendricks bouncer up the middle. Look out.
Yeah, it almost hit him. Cat-like reflexes from Bryant.
Maybe thinking perhaps they would go away. You see Barnhart coming into a kind of a semi-crouch position, asking for that elevated fastball, but the run took it right in towards the chin of Chris Bryant.
2-2. Contreras not going. Bouncer. India throws. Scoop by Votto and got him. Some more base runners, but didn't add any runs. It's still a 2-1 Cubs lead.
today, and he did. The starters, as a matter of fact, throughout this series have been really good, and now the Cubs take a lead into the late innings. And not only did he pitch well, but he helped his own cause with an RBI single. The off-speed pitch, fastball command was really good, sprinkled in a few curveballs to good effect. Typical Hendricks performance, a lot of soft contact.
This quality start brought to you by National Car Rental. Control confidence. National Car Rental.
Control being the key word there. And another start from Kyle with no walks.
So the 5 strikeouts. You mentioned the starters in this series. Mills 9 strikeouts. Alzolay had 6. Well, that was total pitching. Mills actually had 7 strikeouts, excuse me. But the starters have done a pretty good job in that department. And Dan Winkler, the 31-year-old right-hander from Central Florida.
Yeah, he's been a little bit lost in the shuffle a little bit, just in terms of the amount of attention and recognition he has gotten because of the work of Tepera, Chafin, and Kimbrel. But he has been rock solid, folks. 31 games, 29 in the third innings, and a 1.23 ERA. Been able to pitch around some walks. His 25% strikeout rate, a little better than league average. And not giving up a whole lot of slug, just 1 home run allowed by Dan Winkler.
He has that kind of a 3 Musketeer mustache, maybe.
Yeah, he does.
Well, Errol Flynn, if you want to go way back.
Errol Flynn.
You watch the
Robin Hood.
You watch the Turner Classic Movies when you're not watching the Cubs on marquee.
He could swashbuckle with the best of them.
Well, Hendricks stands to win if the Cubs bullpen does its thing and they hang on here, and he would win his 11th. Coming into the game, Julio Urias of the Dodgers had 10 wins, and Aaron Savali of the Indians 10 wins. Kyle Farmer steps in against Dan Winkler. Excuse me, that's Suarez. And then we will see Farmer and Tucker Barnhart. Bottom part of the order for the Reds. Yeah, he went. Yeah, the bottom part of the order for Cincinnati today produced their only run. RBI double from Barnhart after Farmer was hit by a pitch.
A 1.23 ERA for Dan Winkler is the 6th best among National League relievers. Hader 1, Kimbrel 2. And then Anthony Bender of the Marlins, Ranger Suarez of the Phillies, Alex Reyes of the Cardinals, and then Dan.
Base hit. Suarez is on. Here comes Kyle Farmer.
It's been an entertaining game with the pitchers working quickly, a lot of balls in play, a lot of very good defensive work on both sides.
Farmer scoring the only run of the game for the Reds. Trying to bunt.
Wisdom was deep at third base. Farmer thought perhaps he could drop one down, get himself a knock. J.R. House, the third base coach of the Reds.
And they play him pretty much straight away. A little bit of Marisnik in center, shaded a little toward right. Not a lot of pop from Kyle Farmer. And that hit him. 2 on to start the inning.
Suboptimal start here to the home 7th. Kind of one knock on Dan throughout his career. Then times the command issues rise up, and just tried to overthrow this one. Wisdom pinching a little bit at third base, just in case Barnhart thinks about dropping down a bunt here. No indication of such. Got Stevenson out on deck to hit for Mr. Warren.
See if you pass. See if he passes. Shot that gets through the right side, and here comes the tying run. No, they hold him up. And a good thing they did have a shot at second base. Runner back. Suarez rounded third, and the third base coach kind of said, hold up.
There's nobody out, so J.R. House is not going to be overly aggressive there. Suarez, an average runner at best. Maybe a tick below average. KB got to that ball in good shape, a good strong throw. They did have for a moment look like they might have a shot at Farmer at second base, but he was able to scramble back, and a big spot of bother for Dan Winkler here. Bases juiced and nobody out.
It's Mike's Hard Lemonade season. Nobody makes lemonade like Mike's.
Meeting on the mound at a trouble spot. Suarez at third. Farmer at second. He hit by a pitch. It's 12 times this year. That's the most on the Reds team. Twice in this game. Chafin up throwing in the Cubs bullpen.
And a certain amount of urgency too. Keegan Thompson will join him with less urgency. An eye towards Winker for Chafin.
Bases are loaded for Tyler Stevenson, the rookie catcher.
Seems like when you're in one of these losing funks, it never comes easy.
Coming home, Wisdom. They get one. Contreras holds on the Stevenson bounce out.
Well, if Dan Winkler can pull a rabbit out of his hat here and prevent the Reds from scoring, my goodness. Stevenson anxious, rolls over on that one. Wisdom, you see him taking his time there, wanted to make sure he made a good accurate throw home. With a little more urgency, perhaps they get a double play.
Kyle Hendricks on a 3-2 pitch got a double play ball in the fifth against Winker when he was at a trouble spot. Now they're loaded with Winkler on the mound facing the rookie Jonathan India. 1 for 3, 0 for his first 2. He struck out twice and then reached on a base hit. Jesse Winker waiting on deck.
See, Winkler typically see a lot of cut fastballs moving away from the right-handed hitters.
No room for a Red on base here. With the bases loaded this year, India 2 for 3 and has driven in 5. And ahead on the count. Now 3-0.
Certainly be taking all the way here. Maybe even on 3-1. Find a way to put a positive thought in your mind if you're Dan Winkler.
Tie game. Bases loaded, hit by pitch. Second one this inning. Suarez in to score. He started the inning with a base hit.
And just spraying it all over the place. this afternoon.
Correction on that was Farmer scoring because Suarez was thrown out when he attempted to come home. The bottom line is for the Cubs, it's tied at 2.
Mike Freeman is going to come in and pinch run for Barnhart. Stevenson will stay in the game to catch.
Cubs have led since the opening inning. It's 2-1 until now. Winkler out. This pitching change brought to you by Lakeside Bank. Lakeside Bank, it's about time. Home plate sweepstakes, where one lucky winner will get a chance to work from home plate at Wrigley Field. All tickets purchased between now and July 31st automatically entered to win. For more information, we want you to visit Cubs.com/WFHB. Be a lot of fun to have you out there on the field at Wrigley Field. And the work from home plate sweepstakes. Andrew Chafin, the new pitcher.
Yeah, with a left-handed Winker coming up. We are spared the Winker-Winkler matchup, which had us tongue-tied for a week and a half. But bigger issues here. The bases loaded and the Sheriff on to face the dangerous Winker. Mentioned that he has been struggling in this series, been struggling over the last 10 days or 2 weeks, but still very dangerous.
Hit into a double play last time, and that's what the Cubs need here. The bases loaded, and he swings and misses. You had the Winker struggles recently. This season, though, he's with the bases loaded 2 for 6 with a couple of doubles and driven in 5. He's at over 350 in his career with the bases loaded. It's a tipping point right now. Chafin is on the spot trying to clean things up.
Yeah, he did.
And he's ahead 0-2.
Slider. The second one a little harder than the one before. First one intended to land in the strike zone. This is the chase one. Mission accomplished.
Castellanos on deck. This could be 2. There's 1. Back to Chafin. No. Freeman in to score, who had pinch run, as you mentioned a moment ago, and that gets Cincinnati on top. That bounce out really was not a tailor-made double play.
No, Javi had a decision to make whether to take the shot at first base with Chafin running over to cover. That's a play that can get pretty sloppy sometimes. And so he opted to try the back door, take the shot at the runner at third base, see if he could get him taking a turn. And there's no real easy decision here. He just trusted his instincts. J.R. House, the third base coach, doing a good job making sure the runner did not round third base.
Chafin frustrated, hustling to first. Castellanos 1 for 3. Runners at first and third, 2 down now, and a 3-2 Reds lead. It's following the Cincinnati script this weekend. Cubs need a rewrite. Led early Friday, lost 2-1. Led early Saturday, lost 3-2. Led early today. We're in the 7th. Reds lead. A 2-run inning here. 2 hit batters in the inning. But that was Winkler. Chafin hoping to keep it a one-run game. Cubs will have Rizzo, Baez, and Wisdom coming up in the 8th. Chafin's done a good job of getting ahead of both hitters.
Yeah, they're anxious hitters, guys trying to do damage with runners on base. He exploits that. Good swing and miss slider there. A big weapon for him. Fastball command and that good slider are the keys to his success. He's got a 20-inning scoreless streak working.
Chafin from Lakeland, Ohio, northeast part of the state.
I feel like with Castellanos' approach, you can get him to offer at a pitch out of the strike zone. That's not to say he won't hit it somewhere and drive in the run. But if I'm Chafin here, I'm not inclined to give in to Castellanos. I'm going to keep throwing that slider down and in, or I'm going to throw something off the outside edge.
And got him swinging. Out of trouble, but not before the Reds break through to get 2 and take a 3-2 lead after 7.
For the Miller Lite moment, let's make it moments, and the glove work has been on display all really throughout this series, but in particular today, the infielders on both sides really getting the job done, whether it's Suarez or Wisdom. There's Ian Happ making a sliding catch in left. Here's Wisdom doing his thing, going at 100-mile-an-hour fastball across the diamond. Suarez again with Wade Miley on the mound. Lefty gets a lot of pulled ground balls, and how about this double play? 4-6-3 by his arm into the nail. Jesse Winker.
We wish you happy 4th of July, America's birthday, Independence Day, celebrated across this great country at Great American Ballpark as Brad Brock comes in, 35-year-old from Monmouth University in Freehold, New Jersey, in his first season with the Reds. Cubs trying to break through against this Reds bullpen. Anthony Rizzo, will be followed by Baez and then Wisdom.
There are the numbers on Brad Brock, a veteran right-hander who'll give you a whole lot of funk. And crossfire, jump at you delivery, has a real good changeup. There it is.
Tyler Stevenson, who pinch hit, stays in behind the plate. Rizzo 2 hits today. Last time he had a 2-hit game was June 8th against the Padres. Well hit right field, but Castellanos calls it in for out number 1 in the 8th. Javier Baez with an RBI and a stolen base today. We did see a little discussion in the dugout with Chafin afterwards, maybe indicating to Baez that, hey, I was covering first. You could have gone there in the hopes of a double play.
Yeah, and I think it's exactly what Andrew was saying, and I think Javi said, yeah, that's. I mean, it was just one of those plays where.
So quick.
Flip a coin, right? And then, with Baez, you kind of trust his instincts. He has such a good clock out there. And we've seen that play botched a lot with a pitcher on the move covering first. If the throw's off at all, they get tangled up with the footwork.
Then more runs come home.
Yeah.
Fouled away.
I don't dispute the fact that maybe they would have had Winker at first base, but it would have been a really close play. And
0-2. Jock Peterson has come out on deck. Peterson did not get the start today. Contreras, the leadoff hitter, and the outfield had Happen left with Marisnick in center for the Cubs.
Don't you dare call that Sam. Sam I am.
Sam Holbrook. We've had a couple of days of who's ever been behind the plate. Players giving the look, questioning.
Yeah, and I think that's what happens when you play all these close games. I think for the most part, the umpiring's been pretty good. Jim Wolf in the opener had a really big zone for both clubs.
There was a call yesterday. Let's go back after this pitch. I want to take a look at what could have been a double play if.
Yep, that's what will be discussed after the game. Should he or shouldn't he have? It's kind of in football what you would call a slow developing play. And the conversation afterwards, Chafin said, I was there. And Javi, I'm sure, is saying, yeah, I know you were there, man, but I'm not sure we would have had him. And
Baez at Suarez. He has one error today as well as he's played defense. A tough hop. Baez is on base again.
Yeah, they charged him with an error initially back in the 6th, and then they changed it to a base hit, and they rule error again here, and they may ultimately change this one too. This ball pretty well hit. So he's guarding the line. No, that's an error. That's very much an error.
Not a tricky hop.
Got caught a little bit flat-footed.
All right, but you've got speed on the bases and power hitting lefty up at the plate, and Jock Peterson pitch hitting. Wisdom has had a rough afternoon at the plate. So he steps in.
About 7 or 8 chances for Suarez down there this afternoon.
Baez, those 2 shots that, as you said, one was changed from an error to a hit, and this one at the moment sticks. So the Cubs get a base runner. They've had one every inning. Sound like I'm repeating myself, but with 10 hits, they've produced 2 runs. Well hit to the track. Hauled in by Naquin. Tagged by Baez. And sliding in. Safe. Jim Wolf at second wanted to make sure. It looks like we have India reaching for his ankle in pain. Yeah, he looked like he was going to call him out, but he waited to make sure to see that Baez didn't go over the bag.
I wonder if the ball came loose, because he initially signaled out.
India limping. And you wonder if we'll get a look, challenge.
But I love the hustle on this play, right? To get into scoring position with 2 outs. He just didn't hang on to the ball.
The ball does.
Oh,
yep.
Man, he held it a good long while, though.
Yeah,
the Reds are going to challenge this.
Could you have called that out as it was falling, maybe in pain? Look at that. You see India's reaction with that ankle or lower leg being twisted. Javier Baez trying to help him out there. India limping.
Well, it's just a great baseball play by Baez.
Yeah, that's a big league slide. And watch
Wolf rotate into position. He's getting ready to punch him out. Yeah, and then he looks and he sees the ball loose.
Yep, that's a half.
But I think the Reds will challenge this because he held on to it for a little while. And David Bell's now asking Sam Holbrook. He ruled out, and they're going to check with the dugout. I can't imagine they wouldn't challenge us. I don't understand why they would even have the conversation with India. He wants to get India's perspective on it, but it seems like it would be worth the while for them to challenge.
Is it worthwhile? We saw slow motion in real-time action. Maybe the hold isn't as long in the eye of the umpire. Let's see over there. It's a continuous motion, so I think you do have to call and see.
Yeah, my point is I don't know why the Reds wouldn't challenge it.
Yeah,
and hope
I'm
for an
surprised.
overturn on it.
We got nothing to lose here, and it's if you happen to catch a break, if you're the Reds on a challenge, you get out of the inning. But that is not the case.
Yeah, so unlike the base running play earlier when Contreras got thrown out, I mean that was kind of reckless. This even if you're out on this play, it's worth the shot to get into scoring position. And here comes Nico, chance to be a hero.
Jock Peterson not going to pinch hit, as looked like he'd come out on the on-deck circle. So it's up to Nico. Excuse me, that was him on the fly ball. So this is Nico Horner in the place of Wisdom. Now 2 down and an 0-1, but Baez at second. And a bouncer here. Reds are out of the inning. Good hustle by Baez. Through 7.5. It's a 3-2 game.
Hey there, Cubs fans. A busy Cubs postgame live coming your way. Myself and Sean Marshall. And Marshall, once again, the 7th inning Briar patch for the Cubs.
Yeah, it was tough to see, but you got to credit Kyle Hendricks' his performance. Have a breakdown coming on him. He was magnificent once again.
Yeah, Kyle Hendricks, he did pitch well. And like Marsh said, we're going to give it a closer look. That and much more coming your way, plus plenty of postgame sound on Cubs postgame live, gang.
All right. Thank you, guys. Look forward to that and hearing what David Ross has to say. Going to the bullpen and going back now to Adam Morgan, who follows Winkler and Chafin after Kyle Hendricks was terrific.
And the left-hander Adam Morgan just recently recalled while the club was in Milwaukee. He's pitched 3 times already, so doing some simple math. This will be number 4, 2 1/3 at 3.86 ERA. And on to face Joey Votto, who got him the other day and drove in what proved to be the game-winning run.
Yeah, a little thrown off on the Jock Peterson pitch hit there. Sorry, a moment ago, trying to adjust who's where. Peterson is now in left field after pinch hitting, so Bryant takes over at third, and we'll update where Happ moved in a moment. Votto takes a strike.
Good heater there, outside corner at 94. There you see the highlighted in orange, the new positions. Peterson and Happ in the corners. KB moves into play third.
It'll be Votto, Tyler Naquin scheduled, and then Suarez.
Votto not happy with the call, but it looked like that slider caught the inside corner. And you're always going to get called when it pops out of the catcher's mitt. Adam Morgan has been a big leaguer off and on since 2015 when he debuted with the Phillies. Did a lot of starting his first couple of years in the league. Beginning in 17, everything has been out of the bullpen.
The 1-2 gets Votto swinging for the strikeout. Morgan, born in Tampa, to high school in Georgia, and then went to Alabama. His father, Wiley Morgan, also a pitcher. Nice work on one of the Reds' tough hitters. Naquin 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts, steps in.
Cubs have played 4 one-run games already on this road trip, and they've lost all of them.
Another one-run game here. High pop. Nico Horner has it for out number 2. Cubs got a run in the first and a run in the second. Held that at least a lead. It was 2-1 much of the game until bottom of the 7th when Kyle Hendricks was replaced. Winkler then Chafin. And Morgan trying to keep it that one-run game and give the Cubs a chance to rally in the 9th.
Looks like it'll be Amir Garrett for the Reds in the 9th inning. Risnick happened a pinch hitter for the Cubs, and all left-handed bats on the bench. Embry has picked up saves the first 2 games of this series. Might not be available today. But you'd like the lefty anyway, certainly to turn Happ around, and then whoever's coming off the bench.
Amir Garrett not popular with Cub fans. He said he's over it, but not sure how biased some of the Cubs feel after earlier incident. But first things first, in a 3-2 game, 2 out in the 8th on a 1-1 pitch from Adam Morgan to Eugenio Suarez. Fouled away.
Adam is 31 years old. He was a 3rd-round pick of the Phillies in 2011, and good against lefty hitters in his career. Doing a real nice job down in Iowa. Non-roster invitee to spring training. That seems like a decade ago.
Yeah, when the Cubs called him up right away, it was a 1-2-3/8 inning for him. Originally a starter and then converted. Part of this Cubs bullpen, and did not go, according to the first base umpire Corey Blazer.
For his career, left-handed batters hitting .226 against Adam. 298 on base, 341 slug, so it definitely has been able to neutralize the lefty hitters. Righties, different story. 290, 335, 526 slugging percentage. Giddy up on that one, 95, and Suarez had a notion.
The 3-2 walked him. Kyle Farmer coming up with a base runner on and 2 down. Farmer twice hit by a pitch. Here comes David Ross. And you see Keegan Thompson. See if that's where they decide to go. Now this pitching change is brought to you by Lakeside Bank. Lakeside Bank, it's about time. Sports Network for a special game broadcast auction throughout Tuesday's Cubs-Phillies game. We'll be highlighting one of many items that are open for bidding, like a signed Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth ball and a lot more. The proceeds from the evening benefit the Anthony Rizzo Foundation, and it starts Tuesday at 7 o'clock Eastern.
I had eyes on that Gehrig Ruth ball, and it's remarkable how clean and how visible the signatures are. That is just an unbelievable prize for a baseball fan, a collector of any kind, but obviously a cherished item for any baseball fan. Gehrig and Ruth on the same ball.
Do what you can, get involved, help out the Anthony Rizzo Foundation. And our new pitcher is Keegan Thompson, the 26-year-old right-hander from Auburn.
Keegan has been solid, 29 innings and a 1.86 ERA for the rookie right-hander. His only blemish of late, the home run he allowed to Bellinger over in Los Angeles back on June 26.
JD made his major league debut May 2nd at Cincinnati and pitched a scoreless inning.
Morgan did his job. He got the 2 lefty hitters out and then did not give in to Suarez. He's got to face 3, so right-handed hitter. Rossi goes to Thompson.
The pesky Farmer has scored a couple of runs. Bouncer, this will be a tough play. Got him at second and got out of the inning. Reds lead 3-2. With Marisnick starting things in the 9th, the Cubs will have to rally. 3-2 as the Cubs bat in the 9th. StatCast powered by Google Cloud. Marisnick up here and had a big triple. Also singled after that. Scored a run for the Cubs.
Yeah, he sure did. And StatCast powered by Google Cloud will show you a 364-foot three-base hit for Jake Marisnick. And I would imagine a pretty impressive sprint speed home to third as well. Do it again. That's all we ask.
Or a little bit more. Does have 4 home runs. So Brock remains the pitcher with Garrett Warming. The lefty in the Reds bullpen, the righty on the mound. Marisnick, then Happ on the pitcher scheduled.
Yeah, I would think this would be it for Brock. I think David Bell would want to turn Ian around to the right side. Everybody on the bench is a left-handed hitter.
Well hit left center, but Naquin is there for out number 1 on the 9th.
Shop Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, and more with our sleep experts today to find your best sleep. Only at Mattress Firm.
And it looks like, as you mentioned, it will be Amir Garrett coming in for Brad Brock. Ian Happ scheduled to bat. This pitching change is brought to you by Lakeside. It's about time. In the 9th, down by a run with 1 out. And Amir Garrett, the 29-year-old one-time starter who has come on to pitch in the bullpen for the Reds, from the bullpen, I should say, trying to close it out.
Yeah, the overall number is not good. The control has been a problem for him. 25 innings and a 7.20 ERA, although the work of late has been much better. In the last 8 appearances, 5 2/3 scoreless, 22 batters faced, a couple of hits, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts.
Eric Sogard is on deck as Ian Happ, who usually has big games when he comes back to Cincinnati from where he played his college ball, but today 0 for 3. This will be a good time. Reds have not scored, excuse me, the Cubs have not scored on the Reds bullpen in this series. They have only 1 home run.
It's a little out of sync, doesn't he? I mean, those are bad misses for Garrett here. 1-run lead in the 9th inning. You see the splits for Ian Happ, career-wise. Batting average similar, but the slugging numbers are much better as a left-handed hitter. Wow. Wow, that's got to get David Bell. Full-on alarm, 5-alarm fire code mode here for Bell.
Yeah, Brock was cruising out of that pen on a 4-pitch walk. Happ can move on the bases. Sogard up to bat, and Heath Hembry, who has a save already in this series, warming in the Reds bullpen.
He's got to face 3. That means it'll get Sogard. He'll get Sogard and Contreras, who's next. And I would imagine Sogard would take until he sees a strike.
especially after the way.
Yeah, it's one thing to miss, but you're missing as badly as he did. It's not like Sogard's going to go up there against a left-handed pitcher and knock one out of the ballpark.
Cubs in this series did score a run on a pass ball. That almost hit him.
Again, not even close.
Maybe Sogard could have leaned into that a little.
Yeah, take it out the head. Why not?
We kid. We care. 6 straight not in the strike zone, and the rookie catcher Stevenson going out to talk to the 29-year-old reliever Amir Garrett.
Greg Johnson, the pitching coach, also on his way out. Try to dispense a little wisdom.
Well, look, no sympathy here because you saw Winkler come in, and hit 2 batters in the inning when the Reds scored a couple to take the lead.
Maybe the best thing for the Reds right here, if Garrett were to be able to say, what, something's hurting, and they could get him out of the game due to an injury. That's if I'm Derek Johnson. That's what I'd be saying. Are you sure you're okay? You don't have a little twinge, maybe a blister?
Let's go back, JD. May 29th. Sogard batting. A little marquee flashback for you. Garrett. Taunting from Javier Baez.
Garrett, every time he comes out of the bullpen, he's a former college basketball player, and he does a little jump shot pantomime.
Yeah. St. John's. He mouthed some words, and I remember Baez came out of the dugout. There's a strike.
I don't give him that one.
Well, kind of high.
Yeah, the ball's a little bit up.
That's what Ross felt.
That ball's clearly up, and there was a big call that went against Patrick Wisdom in the 9th inning of yesterday's game. Would have been ball 4, and he got rung up on a pitch that was outside.
Sam Holbrook, our home plate umpire. Now 2-2.
Sogard pretty good against lefties, keeping that front side in. Look to shoot the ball the other way. They're really shortened up for him in left field.
Sogard been a better pinch hitter than that average shows. His overall numbers. 2-2 with Happ at first. Cubs need a run at least. And this really makes things interesting. Just missed. Kind of like the high one that was called a strike. Tapped. It gets by third. They have a little bit of a shift on. And runners now at first and second. Well played, Eric Sogard.
Boy, great work off the left-hander. Sogard, that's his game against a lefty. I mean, he hits the ball that way a lot anyway, especially against a high-velocity left-hander. He's going to protect. He's going to wait. He's going to let the ball get deep and just try to make solid contact. I hope he finds a hole, and that's precisely what happens here.
Cubs have once again put base runners on. That's been the story every inning. 2 runs, 11 hits. Looks like we're going to have a pinch runner here. Or Rafael Ortega, who scored the other day, we told you on that pass ball, is going to run for Sogard at first with Happ at second. And Contreras, in his career, 2 for 6 against the former St. John's University star Amir Garrett, including a double. Couple of hits today. Got thrown out trying to stretch a single into a double for Contreras. Sets up to bunt, doesn't, but takes a strike.
Contreras pulls a lot of balls on the ground to the left side of the infield. He can exploit that hole between third and short. And with the go-ahead run on first base, David Bell is opting to guard the line at third. So there's a pretty good size hole there on the pull side for Wilson.
Foul ball. Well ahead on this hitter. Contreras in a hole 0-2. 4-pitch walk and then the base hit. Chopped foul. Chris Bryant waiting on deck. Bryant has reached base twice today. And hot hitting in the series. The only home run the Cubs have hit at Great American Ballpark this weekend. Could use one here. Contreras fighting off pitches at 0-2.
It's interesting. They've got Suarez tight to the line, kind of playing no doubles there, but in the outfield they are not particularly deep. And swung around towards right.
Yeah, there's some room in left center if Contreras could get it out there. Shot at third. That's one. That's two. And the Reds win another one-run game against the Cubs, sweeping Chicago here in Cincinnati.
I guess David Bell knew what he was doing, having his third baseman position where he was. The ball came right to him, and I guess somewhat fitting that this game ended on that double play. A ton of ground balls in this game. Great defensive work by both sides, and yet more frustration for the Cubs as they lose yet another one-run game. All three of these games this weekend have been decided by a run. The Reds win them all. The Cubs have dropped 5 one-run decisions during this losing streak.
The losing skid continues. Well-pitched games from the starters this weekend, but just not enough offense. Time for our toast of the game, brought to you by Binny's Beverage Depot. Binny's is the official champagne provider of the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, and it's Kyle Hendricks. The starters throughout this series for the Cubs were really good, and Kyle dialed up a nice one here this afternoon on a hot day in Cincinnati. 6 innings, 5 hits, allowed just the 1 run, did not walk a man, and struck out 5.
If you can't find it at Binny's, probably not worth drinking. Well, the Cubs will head home to take on the Phillies at Wrigley tomorrow, and happy after the longest road trip and the losing streak, hope to put an end to things. But some good, close, well-pitched games here in Cincinnati. For Jim DeShays, Elise Menaker, and our entire production crew from Great American Ballpark, I'm Chris Myers. Your final score: Reds win another one-run game, 3-2. Right now, Cubs post-game live with Cole Wright and Sean Marshall. Cole?